And welcome to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll. That is Father Anthony Scaramucci Sciarappa. What's up, buddy?
Nothing much. Getting ready for my day off after this. I'm the pastor this week at my parish, so I get to make all the decisions.
No way. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'll make one decision for you so that you don't have to make. Pull that camera down a little bit. You look like you're retreating from my podcast here, which you kind of are. This is our last time recording together. That was a metaphor. Well, it's not a surprise. I told people last week, but this is it. This is the end of the weekly show. That the weekly show ended a year ago. Let's be honest. We were doing it was a weekly show, then a sporadic show. Now it's a monthly show. So. We're here to do, we were sad last week. We're here to celebrate this week. We had our 10-year anniversary as a show last month. We're a month late to the party. We're celebrating Jesus' birthday on January 25th. Happy anniversary, buddy.
Yeah. It's wild.
It is wild. So 10 years since this show started. It's crazy. We had the radio era where I was the Parable of the Persistent Widow. I asked our local Catholic radio station once a month to give me a show, and they kept saying no. To their credit, I mean, they were right. Yeah. But after a year of me pestering, I think they thought I was maybe part of the mafia or something. So he's like, let's give him the show. So they gave him the show. We recorded the first year and a half or so in our local Catholic radio station, and I did not make many friends there because I was very loud, and this was like a study place, and people didn't like that. And then you came around, and about a year and a half in, so we're celebrating over 8 years of friendship and podcasting and all that today as well.
Yeah, I remember your little studio and you having to take like hard breaks for like actual radio stuff, and being very impressed by your skill in doing that kind of thing. And everything was very well timed. And, last few years, it's been like, oh, I'm going to be 15 minutes late because I have to eat McDonald's. And you're like, whatever. Segments, who needs them? We'll do whatever.
Here's what I really thought was going to happen today.
Yeah.
I will do a little bit of show and tell because I thought I was going to do a different show and tell. I wasn't running late because I've been ready for an hour and a half. But I started running late because even with that, it's like I didn't want to set up because I didn't really want to do this. I don't want to record a last podcast with you. That's sad. Like emotionally, I was like, I don't really want to set up the camera and the microphones and all this stuff. So I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll go clip my fingernails and toenails because it's been a while and I need to do that. And what I really thought, I waited. I was like, well, I can't go clip my fingers and toenails because right when I start, I'm going to get halfway through. And he's going to be like, it's time to go. And sure enough, by the time I found the fingernail clipper and the toenail clipper, yes, they're different because my toenails are massive. One's toenail clippers and the other one's the ones that you use to cut your bushes outside,
Hedge clippers, yeah.
And then I sat outside for 3 minutes because I knew the moment that you texted me, I would be halfway done. And I was right because about 3 minutes in to me sitting outside waiting, you said, it's game time. I'm like, hey! Yes. So I still have all 10 of my very long fingernails. And I thought I was going to have like 6 cut and you were going to be like, it's time to go. So I am not a member of the mafia. I do not have only my pinky fingers long nails. They're all still long. And I will, by the time everyone's listening to this, I will have cut them. And that's an image that you'll have in your mind for the rest of your life. That's what we're leaving you with.
Yes, your large toenails. I've never heard someone describe, like, I have incredibly large toenails. I don't think it's a sentence I've ever heard about a person.
My belly's thick, my toenails are thick, everything.
Even after 10 years, I'm learning new things about you, Taylor.
This is the stuff that I held back from everybody. You're welcome.
Yep.
So after that era, you came on as a guest. And the way that we became friends is that you're bad at video games. You were like, I heard about this new thing called Fortnite, and you were looking for a partner. And I was like, I'm pretty good at things, going to ad breaks and shooting bad guys digitally. Those were my two skills that I picked up over the years. And sure enough, we won a game together, and that's really what started our friendship. This is a friendship of use. You used me, And then I used you. You used me to
Yeah.
win video games, and then I used you to build a podcasting career. And now it's over for both of us. We both suck at video games now because we're old. And this podcast is ending. Every podcast you've ever done. I thought about you this weekend. There's a new Wendy's ad and no one to talk about it.
Exactly. For those people can maybe still find this piece of internet lore now where I did a brief, I don't know, like 15 episodes of a Wendy's review podcast. The Spicy Nuggets podcast. Yeah, and even my my own show, Clerically Speaking, we're eventually going to record our last episode. We're just still scheduling that. It's just time to say goodbye to the internet. Goodbye, internet. Goodbye forever.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Yeah.
See, this is what I love about you. Every time I do something crazy, you know exactly how to respond. Our chemistry on the podcast has just been enshrined in the Catholic Podcasting Hall of Fame after 8.5 years together.
You know, it was a learning experience podcasting with you, Taylor, because I just did not know how to handle like your energy on the podcast, because you were very different than my friend Father Harrison, and we would go back and forth and stuff. But like you are this
I can't think of two different white men.
Right? So different. One's from Texas, one's from Canada. That's, infinitely different by itself and everything. But I also remember, like, earlier on in your show, you'd always have this like interview segment with somebody. And it'd be somebody, because I did no show prep. I still do no show prep. I've never done show prep except for like 4 times when I made like a game. And you'd be interviewing the person, and I'd just be like nodding along. And you would text me like under the table with your phone, like, ask a question. I was like, I don't have any questions.
So, yes, that Jesus that you mentioned, I've heard of him. What are your thoughts? Thoughts?
Yes. Thoughts.
That's pulled straight from the last interview that you did on Clerically Speaking. That was a direct quote from how you left things on a question. And the good old sister was like, yeah, kind of like you did to me after my Boyz II Men rendition today on the podcast. I listened to that podcast, which was very serious, and I laughed out loud on a plane at your interviewing technique.
I felt so bad. Because the sisters are so good. They say a lot of good things. So it's still good listening to them. But I was like, I hadn't like recorded anything like on our show in like months, and I was like, I don't know how to do interviews. Like, I don't know how to do anyway. But listen to that show and to the sisters and give them your money. But yeah. So that was a large part of your interview segments that I remember. Did you have a favorite person that you interviewed, or someone you never would expect to have interviewed?
One of my favorite interviews was a guy named Carlos Zamora. To my knowledge, it's the first interview. I didn't realize I could do this because, like you mentioned, I had hard breaks for the show. Like, there was my intro segment, and then an interview segment, and then like an outro segment or whatever, right? And it was the first time that I remember talking to him live on the phone and being like, we have to go to break. Can you stick around? Because I want to do the next 18 minutes. Because like the whole point of radio is like you always want there to be like another question you wish the host asked. You want like a 2 or 3 more minutes, but you don't get it, right? Like that's kind of the point of radio, to keep people wanting more because it keeps them engaged, whatever, right? I was like, I don't want another 2 to 3 minutes with you. I want another 18. Like I want to do, and because he was a like gangster rapper and an actual gangster, and like was doing shows with like Jagged Edge, like the people that I grew up listening to, the little ghetto white boy playing basketball and running track and stuff. I listened to like the guys that he like ran around with, and then he was like, and then I met Jesus and everything changed. And I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna go to break, and then we'll come back and hear the rest of the story. That was one of my favorites. One of the ones that sticks in my head, like just ridiculous stuff that I shouldn't have been allowed to do. Like I interviewed a guy who'd won an Oscar for a movie. I interviewed an Oscar-winning director. I interviewed an Olympic multiple-time gold medalist. Like who let me do that?
Right? Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, that was really fun. But so we kind of had the radio era, and then you came in as a guest. That's how you started on the show. And then as we moved out of the radio, I was like, I don't really want to do as many guest interviews. I like talking to people that I know, like get me and get the show, like you mentioned. Like I have a vibe, and it's a little different than normal Catholic radio, or even at the time normal Catholic podcasting. Now everybody tries to do something similar, but at the time it was revolutionary, right? So I got this co-host thing, and there have been multiple iterations of co-hosts, and there has only been one who has been constant, and it's you. Why do you think that is? And I think there's probably positive and negative reasons for this. Why do you think you're the only one that survived to the end?
I think, I think it's because we're pretty good friends.
I think so.
So it's like, oh, Taylor wants to do this podcast, and I can do once a month, and I've enjoyed it. I really have. It's being on the show, as crazy it is, as irritating as you can be on the show. It is fun. The stuff you've like thrown at me or made me do, and it's just refreshing to kind of talk. It's I talk about Catholic things in various different ways. I counsel people, I preach to people, but kind of the opportunity to talk about Catholicism or Catholic related things in a very casual way is something that I don't get to do very often. And this was like an opportunity to do that as well. And I also liked, you've always made me, because your brain is weird and you think about things in a weird way, but genuine, like you're not just messing with me. You actually have these questions. It's helped me think deeper about different stuff. Some of the crazy questions that you've asked. So it's just been fun. I've just enjoyed it. Like I said, you carry the weight of the prep for the podcast, so it's not
a fat joke while you're saying nice things about me. Come on,
yeah. You carry the massive weight of the podcast, and I just kind of So yeah, I know it's just been it's never been a burden. There've been a few times where like scheduling has maybe been a little difficult, but just I get to talk to my friend for a little bit. I help him out with his job. Yeah, it's a good deal. I don't know.
Yeah, it is good. It's funny because I thought you were going to go the next, like I thought you were going to say something like, well, it's hard. I don't want to tell you no. I feel guilty into doing this because that's how I feel a lot of people are in my life that are like, I don't know. I'm a strong personality, so I'm like, we're going to do this, and people are just like, okay. So I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it, and it was funny, and it's funny that I guess of all people, you would be the one to recognize it, but it's like, I always had a genuine question at the end of my craziest things, but the fun thing about you is that you would let me do it. Like, I could ask other priests the genuine question, but I couldn't put most priests through I had a real question that popped up in Mass, and I would ponder it for 8 minutes, and then I'd get this devilish grin across my face because I finally thought through how I was going to get into it with you. And I'm like, oh, let's make him feel as strange as I just did in this Mass here. So, yeah, thanks for playing along. I have there's some great examples. The greatest example of this, I think the greatest moment. It's not going to be your greatest moment in show history. I think it's my favorite thing that I've ever done because it took 2.5 years to set up, and I paid it off at the biggest place possible. For 2.5 years, you refused to hear my confession. You refused to hear my confession because of Catholic rules, like I can't hear it over Zoom, or Xbox Live isn't a valid way to hear confession, things like this. And so you refused, and it was like a running joke. And then I waited. I saw you multiple times in person where I could have paid off this joke. It would have been a private chuckle. We would have yucked it up for about 20 seconds or so. But I planned for about a year. From whenever we found out that we were going to be recording live at the Focus Conference, the biggest gathering of Catholics every year in the nation, and we were going to record a live show. And I knew that everyone that respects you was going to be there. Everyone that loves us was going to be there. And so the first thing that I did, whenever you came onto the podcast, we were stuck in a little bus for some reason. They put a bus in there. We were recording in a bus that I didn't fit in because of my massive toenails. So I started going to confession.
Like, you didn't ask me to go to confession. You started confessing sins to me.
Yeah.
I've never been so panicked in my life.
I realized that I could not make a mockery of the sacrament. I couldn't
weren't?
say I would like to go, but I didn't do any setup. You knew the setup. Listeners knew the setup. Father Harrison sitting out there knew the setup, and he started yelling immediately. He didn't like this at all. No, stop, no, which is another experience. What's funny is he was trying to protect you and or the church, but that might be the worst thing that happened. Is I'm trying to confess my sins, and there's another priest going, "No, stop it! You don't get to be absolved." That's almost worse than you refusing for 2.5 years and me putting you through this. So and my whole shtick was I was going to say real sins, and I started saying some of the venial ones. And as I started progressing towards the more mortal ones, that's when you ultimately decided to refuse to hear my confession. And you can't answer this question, but I have. Father Anthony, how many times have you heard my confession? The answer is 0. You have still never heard my confession because you refused me publicly at the largest Catholic event in the world.
It's funny because my only memories are you like of that whole show are you beginning to confess to me and me feeling panic, and I think I blacked out because I don't remember how I said no, how it ended, anything else we talked about. I was in such a moral panic because I could tell you were doing this like for real. It's like what do I do? They don't actually teach you this in seminary. Like, what do you do if you're on a live podcast, and in front of you, the person starts confessing to you? That's not a question.
If they're not teaching you that, what are they even doing in seminary?
Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, that was nuts.
Okay, so that was not your favorite moment. Yeah. Do you have a favorite moment or two?
Do I have a favorite moment or two? You know what was a favorite moment was what was that preaching game that you do?
Freestyle preaching.
Yep. Freestyle preaching. And it was a favorite in a humbling way because you're so much better at it than I am. And I preach objectively more than you. I preach every day.
Yes.
Like you give longer talks here and there, and sometimes you're very busy with that. But like I pride myself on my preaching. But this little game of trying to use certain words, and like I was just horrible at it. I think every layperson on your show better at it than me. And that was a lot to handle. So I remember it deeply. I don't know why it's favorite moment, but it's one that sticks out.
Two of my favorites are whenever we recorded live at your house. So
my gosh, that was such a good time.
The things that I remember are because like how the show's always worked. Whenever I was by myself, I would put notes in my phone. And then once I got the co-host, I would put my notes in my phone. And how it started was like whatever notes were in my phone, that's what I did with the next show, no matter who the co-host was. And then I started realizing it's like, no, I'm going to do like my mom stuff with Catherine Whitaker. I'm going to do my priest stuff with Father Anthony. I'm going to do the silly stuff with Liv or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
So I started saving things for you, and I like just like the big bit at Seek, I saved the biggest moral conundrums that were like silly but real for whenever we were together because I thought it would be fun. So the morals of the zombie apocalypse. That's one of my favorite episodes. One of my favorite episodes we ever did. Very very because it's like. And the reason that I love that is literally tonight in my house. We're hosting Foundations in my house now, and tonight we're starting our 2-week series on the moral life, and it's my favorite part of Foundations because I think the primary thing that I do in this moral life thing is that everybody wants everything to be so black and white, and there is just so much gray, and we're not sure, and it's all matters of the heart. Like there obviously is some black and gray, but once you put a real life scenario in front of somebody, it's like a lot of good Catholics are picking between two good things, not morally reprehensible thing and a good thing, right? So it was those kind of things that made it interesting because I'm like, look, is the zombie apocalypse actually going to happen? No, but like things from that conversation apply to like the end of life care for yourself, end of life care for loved ones, so it was just really a fun way for me to mess with you, but ultimately get to like real answers about stuff that I was actually wondering about.
Yeah. But you just made me remember one of the great moments is when you came to my brother's old house And so Nick Sciarappa was there, I
Yes.
was there, and Nick's creativity and your creativity kind of like just meshed really well. So we wanted to record because you would record your advertisements. And Nick's like, what if I just climb into my house through a window while you straight face do the advertisements? Why don't you just drink a whole gallon Nick and I just drink a whole gallon of water while you do the entire advertisements? It was really dumb, but really silly. Having Nick add to that aspect was fun.
You know what? I don't think I've always had a fondness for Nick, and I don't think I fully appreciated why that fondness is so high, because we haven't interacted near as much as you and I have.
Sure.
But I think it's because he paved the way for our relationship. Because
I guess he did.
He's very like, and the way that I know that is because when he and I were in that room together, he's a podcast producer and a creative. I'm a podcast producer and a creative, and you're in between the two of us. And it's that thing that you were describing about me where you never have any idea where I'm going. I don't feel that often. I felt that in that room. I had no idea where Nick was going, but I knew exactly what to do when he went there, you know? So it was just real. And watching you between us was just, it's just classic. I watch that clip every now, like about once a year when I'm feeling down. I watch Nick climb through a window while I do an ad read. It's one of the my favorite movie of all time is Anchorman, and that's the most I've ever felt like Will Ferrell in Anchorman. And he was Brick Tamblyn climbing through the window.
Because he was planning on kind of playing it up, and then he realized, oh, I'm not in shape enough to do this. And he was like genuinely like struggling and dying as he climbed through his own window.
He became Winnie the Pooh looking for the honey.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like that.
That's very, very funny. One of the other good memories that wasn't as funny, but it was great. I really loved, and I hope it happens again soon. I've put out the offer, but when you came down to Texas and you came to my house and hung out with my family, and then we went and led the men's retreat, which was awesome. The first men's retreat we ever did. And I'm actually really excited. I'm actually doing another men's retreat for the first time in like 2.5 years because we lost our location, and now I have a location. I'm real like, it was just really, really cool. Kind of a full circle moment here, but you coming to the retreat and like shooting things with you. We did some skeet shooting, was very fun. And seeing you with a gun was like, he could have been in the mafia. He could have done it, you know, if he really wanted to. If he didn't pick this whole priest thing.
It's in there. It's in his blood. It's hidden, but it's there.
But also my favorite thing was the freedom that you felt to you removed yourself quite often from that retreat. Like I invited you to come be the priest, and you did all the priest things. But there's a lot of times where we're doing stuff. We're doing another prayer. We're going to to the ranch. You're like, I'm going to stay in my room and either sleep or pray by myself. I'm like, great, because it's like I know how stressful your life is. We talk on air and off air quite a bit about how stressful being a priest is in the modern era.
Yeah,
and I really liked that you felt free enough to do that, and that you enjoyed the weekend. That was really cool. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good group of guys. It was a great location. Just utterly different the geography than like Western PA. It was just so cool. Yeah, that was a really good time. You taught me how to gamble. You brought me to the casino for the first time.
I sure did. It's one of my greatest achievements that I got a priest to go to casino for the first time. That's like that's one of those things in my life that I could see coming. I didn't know when or where, but I definitely was going to be that person for someone.
Yeah.
A lot of this is unforeseen, but that one was definitely foreseen.
Yeah, that was going to happen.
Oh, it's so funny because I was just talking with a priest friend of mine because, like I mentioned last week, I just got a new job, and I put you down as one of my references. Thanks for agreeing to that. And it's just really funny when they were like, how do you know this person? I'm like, he's a diocesan priest in Pittsburgh. We met on Twitter, which doesn't exist anymore, to play Fortnite, and we became friends. And they're like, okay. Like in no other world would I be best friends with a diocesan priest from Pittsburgh. Like it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's very, very silly. We live in a very silly world. But it led to all this. So looking back at ourselves and how much we've changed and not changed over the last 10 years, it's like, I think it's interesting because I looked back at myself 10 years ago and like, I've always been very confident in who I am, like from a young age, right? But like not always confident to do what I know is right because I didn't want to like step on people's toes, right? And I think that's one of the things that's changed as I've gotten older is now I don't care about other people's toes because I'll just smack them with my large toenails. Like I'll win, you know? But I think also with like one of the things when I told Chris Bartlett, when I called him, I was like, hey, the weekly show's coming to an end, and he's like, I want to still do one a month. I'm like, okay, great. Like we'll still do one a month. Do like a little ministry check-in because we both work full-time ministry. It's like, but when I told him that like that you were done and leaving, I was like, he said what I've always known is true, but just like how much you and I have processed through together in like the good and the bad and the ugly of our experience with the church. Like he was like, we all heard y'all process through the COVID 2 years and me losing everything. We heard you struggle through some things in your priesthood. We heard you like, and just the fact that we're both like in a better place now. He's like, it's great. He's like, it's been really good to be along for the ride. And like, cause I think a lot of people, and I think you kind of helped, like I was not a vulnerable person before I started working at a Blaze. And I think working at a Blaze really started helping me helped me be vulnerable, but I didn't really have another person to be vulnerable with whenever I left. And that you kind of became that person where we could look, here's all the crap I'm dealing with. And here's all the crap you're dealing with. And being able to just like have conversation, be like, well, that sucks. Like, yeah, we just kind of sit in it together and, give some encouragement when necessary or challenge when necessary. And it's been, I've said before, I've never had a friendship with a priest before. I've been friendly with priests, and you were the first friend that is a priest. And that, in the beginning, I think it helped me so much, like just to see the humanity of the priesthood, good and bad, right? Like, but also like to see that like you're trying, and it's good to see a priest trying, even though they're imperfect, right? Just a lot of things that I needed to see, but also just like to be like a friend first, right? Like we've I don't know, like like at the beginning, like we kind of touch base because you were a priest, and like that's not why you've stuck around. It's because we're friends. It's
exactly.
That's been a kind of a cool transition and been helpful to me, and I hope helpful to you. And it's been pretty cool to work through some of that stuff together.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's one of the things. Like it's hard. I have found it difficult to make friends with lay people as a priest, because most of the people you're interacting with are your parishioners, and you have certain like obligations toward them, and you are a father to them, and it's just kind of hard to navigate like what is appropriate and what's not. And then also when you're in a parish for like 3 years, 3 years is just enough time to start to get to know people and start to be comfortable with them, right? Because there's so many people in each parish, and you just start to kind of figure that out, and then you get moved, right?
Yeah, what you don't know is I'm your podcasting bishop. I'm assigning you to a new podcast that you don't really want to go to.
Oh, great, yeah, you can try. But yeah, I think it's been like a really good and healing, and like like our friendship has been one of the pillars of my almost 10 years now of the priesthood, because we interacted kind of from the beginning just as friends, and that's not something that I think priests get to do very often. Like I've got lay people who are friends, but they all knew me before I was a priest, and that's a very, very, very valuable relationship. But being able to be myself, and part of being myself is being a priest for sure, but just not having the burden of ministry, just being free to be friends with somebody has been like really good. If one of my parishioners, let's just say I'm on the road and it's an icy road, and all of a sudden, all of a sudden, hypothetically, there's a truck in front of me that stopped, and I notice it too late. I slam on the brakes. I slide off into a ditch. If in that moment, as I come to, I see that a parishioner is calling me, I'm not going to answer. But if it's Taylor Schroll calling me right after I got into an accident, oh yeah, I'll talk to him. I like him, and that's something that's weirdly special, and I appreciate that.
And as special as that moment is between the two of us, I need to remind you that you did not have to answer, and it's actually more insane to answer. You could have called me back. You're like, I want you to hear both of these things equally. I really appreciate the friendship, and that story I think has bonded us for life. At the same time, it's the dumbest thing you could have done in that moment.
Listen, I'm in a ditch. I'm not going anywhere. I got plenty of time to talk to my friend Taylor.
Oh, it was so funny. And then I remember the phone. I don't remember the exact wording, but the phone call ended because you were like, "There's a burly man walking down the ditch to come help me. I'm gonna go now." And I'm like, "Okay, bye." And it just clicked. That was it. What a strange, silly boy you are.
That like large like Serbian truck driver got my car out of the ditch. I let him drive my car. He thought it was weird too. That one he offered, and the two I said yes, and he got my car.
What you didn't recognize about him because you were too busy talking on the phone to me is you didn't see him float from heaven and then put his wings behind his back.
It was so wild. My car was fine. I drove all the way home, no problem. Oh, so weird.
Yeah,
so,
very silly.
Yeah, so very. The point is, I'm very thankful for that friendship. Other ways, it's funny. I was thinking about it, like on a very superficial way. I think when we first started podcasting, I still had like moppy hair. I didn't have my super hipster haircut.
You used to be a good-looking fellow, yes.
Yeah, I really uglied myself up for the sake of the ministry, and I think that's a good thing.
So did I. I also had hair. I don't know if you've ever looked at the logo for Forte Catholic, but it hadn't changed with me.
It's the idea of Taylor that we all really need. But yeah, I think, man, I've been reflecting on this. I was, just as time-wise, a few weeks ago, all the priests in the Diocese of Pittsburgh got together. And I was sitting at a table with a newly ordained priest, and we were sharing a little bit, at least trying to. Some of the older guys aren't good at sharing, but he was saying like, "Hey, I'm 28 years old." And when he said, "I am 28 years old," I was like, "Duh! Oh my God, I'm 36 now." Like, I'm just a regular priest now. I am not the young, cool priest. I'm just a regular old priest. And I'm
okay, wait. Yeah. You started this by saying that you have changed your hair.
Yeah.
I need you to say the last sentence that you said out loud, and I need you to hear it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That I said that the priest said he was 28 years old, and I'm not a young priest anymore. I'm just a regular old priest. And
do non-cool 36-year-old priests have a man bun?
Do non-cool 30? I'm sure. I think having a man bun at like 36, I think it marks you as uncool. Isn't this uncool? Like, this is like, millennials are not cool.
That's an angle that you've never gone for before, and I think that might be the answer.
What? That I've never been cool?
No. You definitely were cool, and but you were cool with the previous hair. Let's put it this way: when you first started, you were just out of the womb. You were an 8 out of 10 on the cool scale.
Cool.
But you overstepped when you did the man bun, thinking that you were a 10 out of 10 on the cool scale. What you just said. To the sun. Yes. You were Icarus, right? Yeah. What I'm trying to tell you now is that you were Icarus from 2,000 years ago. You've lost some of that shine. You admitted yourself that you're no longer the cool, hip, young priest because you're 36. What you are now on the cool scale is, I'm being generous, a 6 out of 10 on the cool scale, and you still have what you think is a 10 out of 10 haircut. So it's my last ditch effort. It's the last chance that I get publicly to tell you to cut your hair. But if you don't do it, the best argument that you've ever presented is that you're doing it to be uncool. And you know what? I can live with that. But we have to settle this either way. You either have to cut your hair, which I think is the right move, or I accept that you just admitted that you're not cool as you used to be, and we just move on.
Yeah, because the only people who tell me my haircut is cool or is good are like old people. Like old people. They're like, "Oh, the young people must really gravitate you because of your haircut." I'm like, "No, no, no, they don't. It's not because of my haircut. It's not at all." In fact, if anything, that makes them like no, no, no.
I think them complimenting you is making fun of you. I think that's how kids make fun of people. It's like they tell me all the time how well I pull off the bald look. They're making fun of me for being bald.
I guess what I'm saying is I am comfortable in the semi-ironic, I am not a cool priest. I'm embracing my millennialness. I sometimes make self-deprecating jokes about it era. That's where I'm at. So I am comfortable in knowing that I am not cool. But yes, I will always secretly think I'm very cool. But I'm aware that doesn't reflect reality. Does that make sense?
It really does. And it's the first time that I've accepted your hair for the way that it is, since that you did the man bun. Just knowing, again, I have to talk on both out of both sides of my mouth here. I will agree with you, and we can put this whole hair thing to bed.
Okay.
And I agree with you, but we will end that part of the conversation by saying your mother really wants you to cut it.
I'm not going to disagree. She probably still does. Yeah.
So we can move on from the hair. So we went through the co-host era, and then co-host came and went. And then for a while, it was just you and me. And we were doing it about once a month. And then we added Bartlett, and that was really fun. But, I think one of the I mentioned a little bit about my discouragement over the last couple of years with Chris last week. And just, I think what we did was really good. I think what we put together was really good. And it just, didn't take off like I wanted it to, right? And I think I shared some of the stats last week that all these everybody says what they want from Catholic influencers is essentially what we're doing, and yet they go listen to the hateful people. The hateful people get millions of listens, and this show's dying. Oh, yeah. It's like, it's just very strange what people say that they want and then what they actually consume, But it's interesting because I was just listening to Lino Rulli, the Catholic guy, who was a huge inspiration for this show, right? And essentially what he said is he was explaining a lot of the long-running jokes on his show. He's been doing his show for 18, 19 years.
Yeah.
And he always made fun of Doug. That was just the name. Anytime something went wrong, they were like, Doug. And I didn't know the origin of the story, that essentially he was always trying to make the show for Doug in Kansas. And that was just his stand-in for the normal average Catholic who maybe goes to mass every week, maybe prays a couple of times a week, but it's just going to work and doing their life, right? And what's interesting is I've always said, but I never realized how much the show changed with this. The show has always been for me. There was never a Doug in Kansas. It was always Taylor. And when I started the show, it was not, and that's a weird thing to say because it sounds like I'm making it for my pride or whatever. I'm making it for somebody exactly like me. I made it at the beginning, I was making it for a brand new father, new in marriage, new to working in the church, going through those things. And as the show morphed, now I have a 12-year-old who's in middle school. I'm making it for that person. I'm making it for somebody who's been married for 14 years. I'm making it for somebody who's worked in the church for 15 years. I'm making it and it's just interesting to see how that has shifted, right? Where it's not like I made some conscious change, but the show did morph over 10 years because I morphed over 10 years. It's I'm still the same person through and through, but 10 years ago, I wasn't crying at commercials because it was a dad hanging out with his daughter, right? Ablaze softened me up. My daughter softened me up. The vulnerability that you and I shared kind of softened me up. And it's just the show has changed. And I always said I'm not going to change. And it's still, there's a lot of me that is still kind of, anytime I'm I need to be better. I need to be more moral. I need to be more holy. And there's still a part of me that's I'm never going to change. This is how I've been my entire life. Right. And that's a constant, and that's been a constant for my entire life. And then I look back over the last 10 years and I did slowly change and get better. Now, I think some parts did get worse, and we won't talk about those here. But overall, I think that I did change quite a bit over the last 10 years while maintaining who Taylor is, right? It's just an interesting kind of thing to look back on, because 10 years, like you mentioned earlier, is a very long time.
Yeah, it really is. And I think that's a good thing, because you don't want to. Sometimes you see this when you have a media that's driven by a personality of them trying to stay in the niche that they first started in, and it doesn't work. And I think people who've listened kind of grow with it as well. And over the course of the 10, 8 years, like some of the things that we have talked about have also helped me, like processing things with you, whether it's like even like a theology question weirdly phrased or whatever, has helped me in my ministry. And then I've also been able to bring my ministry to your questions like here, which I appreciated. Right. But what I was saying about we got sidetracked by my hair, is that as difficult
I think that is another thing making my point for me. We were having a great holy conversation. Your hair got in the way of your ministry.
My hair, I guess, got in the way of my ministry. I had to share with you a hair story offline. But anyway, what was I trying to say? Dang it, Taylor.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. No, as difficult as this growing period has been, it made me think like, man, I'd much rather be here today, who I am now, than have to do that like over again. Or like being a new priest, as like bright and shiny and new as it is, it's being 9 years in is way better than being like 2 years in. I don't know if you've seen the same thing with like your ministry and the way you do things, but just noticing like all the benefits. Beginning to see the benefits from the growing pains of going through things is something that I've appreciated and been able to kind of like mark with this show as we've gone on.
Yeah. I think one of the things with like being more tenured in ministry is at the beginning, I think what I was trying to say earlier is like, I've always been confident in who I am and my skills. But I think when I was young, I was trying to prove to all the adults in the room that I was skilled, because there was this like real thing of like, oh, he's just a kid, he doesn't actually have these skills. I was like, no, I do.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, I don't feel that need anymore. I was like, I'm just gonna let the skills speak for themselves. Like it's a different kind of confidence of like, I don't need the adults in the room to tell me how, or to agree that I know that I'm skilled at this. I know I'm skilled at this, right?
And you are the adult in the room.
Right, so. Yeah. I too am a non-cool 36-year-old, So, yeah, good stuff. Do you remember the soundboard era?
Yes.
I'm a fun guy. That was one of my favorite times, and one of yours.
I hated that.
I know it did.
That sound effect.
I know it did, because there's a reason, because it was so spot on. There's only one reason you would have hated it. And there's a reason that the soundboard lasted as long as it did. There's also a reason that I retired it, because you wouldn't have lasted much longer. I pushed and I pushed and I pushed. We would have said goodbye to you in like 2017. So yeah. But I think of you. I need you to know that I think of you every time I see Kawhi Leonard on a basketball court, and that isn't often, because he very rarely plays anymore. But once or twice a year, when I see him play basketball, I'm like, that Father Anthony, good dude, good dude. Very funny. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap. I have one more thing before we wrap up. But before we wrap up, any other moments, any other thoughts as we close this era of our lives together?
I just feel like, shout out to the OG producer, Sam. I think she's the one who inspired you to have co-hosts, because you started talking with her. Definitely want to I'll shout out to Sam, who you have married, and your children, who I've gotten to know over the years. And I think I'm better friends with her on Pokemon Go than I am with you, stat-wise. So you could send me more gifts on Pokemon Go if you wanted to. And just and you know what, the last thing, really good memory, the only time I've seen you lose control of the show in real time. Sometimes your co-host made you lose control a little bit, but when we did the Christmas episode, when we had Blevins and Liv and we had everyone on. It's the only time I've seen you like lose control of the show. And it was like, with our powers combined, we can defeat Taylor at his own show.
I think there was a text chain that I wasn't on.
No, it was purely organic. We all just looked around. We looked at the screen and we just felt it. We knew, and we took over that show, and it was so much fun.
It's very funny. I have no recollection of this because I put bad memories out of my mind. But I could go watch it, I guess. Maybe I'll go watch it over Christmas break. I'll go watch it, but I know it's bad enough because my memory is pretty impeccable to the point that I have to go and lock things up and throw away the key. And that's what I did with that show.
It's the most frustrated. It was the most frustrated I've ever seen you, and the most joy I've had, I think, in seeing you frustrated was that recording of that show.
Well, good. I am glad that since I started with the show of making you the most uncomfortable, that we ended with the show that apparently you made me the most uncomfortable. That's a very fair thing.
There we go. I think that's good. That's what I got.
Yeah. So thanks, man. This has been great. I really enjoy the times that we've talked together. Like a lot of times I would dread coming into the show because I felt like I didn't have anything to say or I didn't know the guest at all. Every show that I've done with you, I've always looked forward to it. I knew that it was going to be fun. I knew that it was going to be helpful to me because I came into some shows like my world's falling apart and I need to talk to somebody sturdy. And half of those times we'd get on the call and you'd be like, I'm not sturdy either. I'm like, we're recording anyway. Let's go, baby. So thanks. This has been a really big gift to me and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And same, man. For real.
Okay. I have one last priest question for you that I've saved for the last month and a half since we last recorded.
Dang. Okay.
And because you and I have talked before about mass and validity of mass and that sort of thing, right? Where I was at a mass where the priest kept flubbing words, like to the point, like it was very clearly unintentional. Like this isn't some new age priest trying to say his own words or whatever, but like he like skipped the whole, like I think he was tired or sick or something, right? Because it's just like everybody says like the wrong word here and there and it's fine. But it got me thinking. At what point is it invalid? And what I'll present to you is if a priest went up, he said all the normal mass like he normally did, and then he just looked at what the time was bread, and he looked at us as the congregation, and his entire Eucharistic prayer was, "Disbread God now." What do we do? What do we do in the congregation whenever a priest says, "Disbread God now," and then asks us to line up for communion?
I mean, that bread, not God now. That bread. That bread, no change. Yeah. You have to say the words. Like, if you don't say the words, the sacrament doesn't happen. You know, you can say them absentmindedly, as long as you have a general intention of what you're doing. I would say in that case, it's not your fault that like you did what was required of you in the sense that you wanted to attend a mass and you did. So I would say you wouldn't have to like hunt down another mass. You could if you wanted to. I think that'd be a good thing to do. But I wouldn't worry about you have committed no sin by not going to a valid mass that weekend. I also would be like worried about the priest because whatever is going on, it's not good. Like either it's a health event of either a mental or a physical sign, and that's that guy needs some help somehow, or maybe at the very least, like is in desperate need of a nap, and hopefully that's all it is. But yeah, that bread, not God.
That
bread, not God. That bread, that wine. Yeah.
What? Okay, so that's the facetious example, but I was also at a daily mass where I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know where it went off, but it was daily mass. We did the holy, 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 and then we all knelt down. And then the next thing we all said together was the great amen. So at some point, what?
Sorry, go on. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. So we did Holy, Holy, Holy. And then how it usually goes is priests say stuff that parishioners don't tend to really pay attention to because it's the same thing over and over again. And then we say, he says the mystery of faith. And then we all somehow just know intuitively which one of the three he's going to pick. I don't know. I genuinely don't know how that works.
It's a miracle of grace that happens.
Yeah. And then he keeps saying things. And then we all go, Amen, in 19 different keys when we're at daily mass because there's no piano to put us in a key.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but at some point we do Holy, Holy, Holy. He says things, and he's saying things like normally, like it doesn't sound like he's not slurring words. He's not intentional. It doesn't seem intentionally doing something wrong, but like he says all the parts that he's supposed to say. But I guess at some point he flips a page and maybe gets lost in a page and I guess forgets where he is because priests say multiple masses a day. Like there's been times that I, as a musician, I'm like, did I do verse 2 or not? Because I'm playing at the third mass of the day, and I know I did verse 2 in the first 2 masses. Did I do it for this? I don't know. I don't know. And then everyone's confused. Like things happen, right? People get zone out or whatever. But we didn't get to the mystery of faith part. And then at some point, but nothing sounds off. I don't realize until we get to the Great Amen that we didn't do a mystery of faith. So it's like, that was it. It seemingly not intentional on his part. He's a very holy priest. He's there every time we go to daily mass. But something happened. Like, was that bread God now?
If he said the words of consecration, then that bread God now. Like that's the big thing. If he skipped that
part he did because I would have noticed that. I think there's like transitional prayers into the mystery of faith and then transitional prayers out.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think that's where the thing happened, right? So
so that's the thing that can happen. So the mass would be, technically speaking, illicit, meaning you didn't do mass the right way, but valid. It did happen.
Okay, that's a good distinction that I didn't know. Yeah. I thought they were synonyms. I didn't know that they could be separate.
Mm-mm. Yeah, so that's the thing that happens. It's there was one time where it happened just like a year ago, where I consecrated. I went straight to the consecration. I consecrated the bread and I skipped the consecration of the wine and did not realize that I had done it. Like my mind was like 1,000 different places. And the deacon, who was kneeling down next to me, was like, do the wine. Right. Like, oh no. So embarrassing. It's almost like it's a weird thing that can happen. You have to watch out for it. But it's almost like you said with your music, but other people, sometimes I'll experience the same thing where you're driving for a while and you're like, how did I get here?
How did I get in this ditch?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that a little worse than the rest of us, buddy.
Hopefully not that bad. But just to say, it's a thing that happens. Sometimes you're driving along and then you find yourself in a ditch and you have to get back on the road, mass-wise. So that's a mass can be illicit, meaning you didn't do it the right way, but still valid. It still happened.
That's an interesting distinction. And I knew there was something to it, which is why I asked, which is why I always ask these silly questions that get real answers.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Well, that's the show.
Goodbye forever.
Goodbye forever. I don't know what this looks like now. Do I just call you I FaceTime you once a month and we just don't publish it? Is that how we continue this friendship?
Yeah, why not?
Do I continue to text you things that you don't respond to? Is that how we continue this friendship?
I mean, for sure. That's okay,
cool.
Yeah, you have to keep doing that.
I'll FaceTime you, and the thing that I'm looking forward to is I don't have to wear a hat for all of those because you don't care that I'm bald, but the internet does. Oh, yeah. I have one last thing. I forgot about one memory.
Oh.
One thing that is forever linked in my mind is you and Satanism. Because I get reminded every day. The most successful thing you and I have ever produced together is a clip where we talked about the most satanic pop song of all time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And this was posted 4 years ago on YouTube. And it's the only thing that we've ever posted that didn't have the initial launch and then just complete drop off. That's how YouTube Shorts work. You get all these views and then it drops off. That's what this video did. We got 75,000 views in the first few days. Most popular thing we've ever done. But for whatever reason, if you look at the stats, it just keeps having these little bumps of like 5,000 people watch it today, 4,000 people watch it today, 8,000 people watch it today. Now we're at like 6 figures of listens to this. And every day I get likes. Every day I get comments of people. The funniest comment is like, no, it's this song by Olivia Rodrigo that came out yesterday. I'm like, sweetie, I posted this video 4 years ago. Use some context clues, right? I might agree with you, but I couldn't have 4 years ago because I'm not prescient. I can't see the future, right? But every day I get comments on this of people saying that you and I are the most satanic because we're Catholic, all these sorts of things, right?
Yeah, sure. Good,
so
good.
every day I get called a terrible person. Every day I get called a fat bald slob because I posted a video on YouTube, But what's really funny is that it's the most successful thing you and I have ever posted together. And the reason is, I think, because I use the hashtag Satan and hashtag satanic and hashtag Satanism. And so every year since that video is posted, I get an email at the end of the year from YouTube saying what the most visited things to our page was. The most visited things for Forte Catholic are not Catholicism, Catholic speaker, Catholic podcast, Father Anthony Sciarappa. All those are up there. The most searched thing that gets you to our channel is hashtag Satan, hashtag Satanism. And that's our legacy. That's our legacy here. That's what we created together.
Well, that's you win some, you lose some. I don't know.
You sure do. Well, that's our legacy. I want to thank everybody again. We said it last week, but thank you to all of you who have listened and stood by us for 8 to 10 years, whatever it's been for you. And if you just joined us last week, sorry, I guess. I don't know what to tell you, but
there's a great back catalog. It's still there.
Go listen to it. When I told my local priest who I just took this new job that I start tomorrow, actually, he said, are you gonna how are you practically gonna do this? I was like, well, we're not gonna do weekly. I'm gonna do once a month. He's like, you ran out of stuff to say, huh? And I was like, yeah, I think so. I think I'm done. I think I've said everything that I've wanted to say. You can go listen to 400 something episodes. We have 500 hours of content you can go listen to, and all you have to do is search hashtag Satan. Will be the first thing that pops up. So I'm Taylor Schroll. That's Father Anthony Scaramucci Sciarappa. I'll be back in a month. See ya.